Donald Trump is cornered, his fake tough guy routine is crumbling, and the entire country is paying the price for his incompetence tonight. The ceasefire with Iran has been shredded, and the resulting blockade in the Strait of Hormuz has sent gas prices into a terrifying, catastrophic spiral. Welcome to Breaking America, the only place willing to call out this regime's blatant disregard for the truth and your bank account. Right now, you are seeing gas prices hit $4.56 a gallon because of this reckless and unhinged escalation. This isn't an accident. It is the predictable outcome of a foreign policy run by people who care more about optics than American stability. While the global economy teeters on the edge of a cliff, Trump's state-run media is performing an absolute circus act to distract you. They don't want you looking at the cargo fees or the oil market spikes. They want you looking at anything else, no matter how pathetic or trivial it is. Watch this clip of FBI Director Kash Patel, who apparently thinks he's at a college kegger instead of leading the nation's top investigative agency. He is chugging beer in an Olympic locker room while our national security hangs by a thread. It's grotesque and fundamentally weak. While the Strait of Hormuz is blocked, our FBI director is busy doing beer bongs with athletes like a frat boy on spring break. This is the face of the Trump regime, unprofessional, unhinged, and completely detached from the reality of the American struggle. But the distraction campaign doesn't stop there, because Energy Secretary Chris Wright is out here doing his own brand of fossil fuel fan fiction. Just yesterday, Wright was on social media gloating that 91% of our energy comes from non-renewables, mocking the very idea of a green transition. He was bragging about our dependence on oil while the entire system was ready to snap. And what happened immediately after that arrogant post? The PJM interconnection grid, which serves 65 million people, started to collapse under the summer heat. The government had to issue emergency alerts telling utilities to cut power because the fossil fuel heavy grid simply couldn't handle the strain. Trump keeps claiming that only unsuccessful countries use wind power, while China dominates the market and our people sit in the dark. It is a catastrophic failure of leadership that is being masked by a coordinated propaganda campaign on Fox News. They are terrified that you will realize their energy policy is a total disaster for the working class. Let's roll the tape on Jesse Waters, who thinks talking to Rutgers students about their summer plans is more important than a national energy emergency. Watch how he avoids the real news to focus on fluff. Look at that. They are literally showing you beer funnels and beach parties while the administration is bankrolling a $400 billion increase in defense spending. This is state regime media at its worst, treating a geopolitical disaster like it's just another episode of a vapid reality TV show. They are using these alpha male cultural distractions to keep you from asking why your electricity bill is skyrocketing. They want to talk about Sophie Cunningham at a UFC fight or Caitlin Clark's safety rather than the blockade in the Middle East. It is a shell game designed to keep you from seeing the theft of our national resources. While they keep you focused on the culture wars, they are moving the pieces to gut your basic medical services. We are seeing reports that they want to push through a massive legislative package to fund a military they claim is bankrupted. The only thing bankrupt in this country is the moral compass of the MAGA movement and its enablers in the media. And now, with the passing of Senator Lindsey Graham, the propaganda machine is shifting into its most grotesque gear, yet Fox News is already airing wall-to-wall tributes. trying to paint Graham as some kind of folk hero to the very people he wanted to bomb. It's a vile attempt to rewrite history in real time, and we are not going to let them get away with it. They want you to believe that Iranians called him Uncle Lindsay while the administration he served is currently starving the region out. This is the trap they've set. Keep the public angry about WNBA locker rooms so they don't notice the country is being sold, but we are watching closely. We see the failure of Chris Wright, the debauchery of Kash Patel, and the lies of the regime media. Trump is trapped by his own hubris, and as the grid fails and the oil prices climb, the mask is finally slipping off. The desperation of their media mouthpieces is becoming more obvious every single hour, every time a Fox host mentions a college summer break. Remember, it's because they don't want to talk about the failure in Iran. Every time they mock a Democrat, it's because they're terrified you'll notice the lights flickering in your own home. We are entering a dangerous phase where the regime's survival depends on your total distraction and their absolute control of the narrative. But the facts don't lie, and the receipts we're showing you today prove the MAGA dream is a nightmare. Stay tuned, because the attempt to sanitize Lindsey Graham's legacy is about to get even more absurd than you can imagine. They are preparing a legislative heist under the cover of mourning, and we're going to expose every single bit of it. The collapse is happening in real time, and the only thing more fragile than the power grid is the ego of the man in the Oval Office. We are going to show you exactly how they plan to use a funeral to hide a $400 billion theft. Mark Levin and Ted Cruz are already lining up to tell you lies that would make a dictator blush. They think you are too distracted by the WNBA to care about the destruction of your health care. They are wrong. We are going to roll the tape on their most desperate hour yet as they try to turn a warmonger into a saint. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. The power is going out. And the regime media is telling you to watch hockey celebrations. This is the reality of Trump's America, and it's only getting more deranged from here. Don't look away now. The most hypocritical display in political history is about to unfold as the GOP gathers to praise a man who helped lead us into this mess. We have the clips, we have the data, and we have the truth that they are trying so hard to bury under a mountain of flags. The next 24 hours will define the future of our democracy as the regime fights for its life. Get ready, because the mask is about to come off completely. We are diving deep into the Graham legacy and the healthcare cuts they think you won't notice. This is the moment where the propaganda meets the pavement. And trust me, the collision is going to be absolutely catastrophic for the MAGA elite. They think they can play you for a fool, but we are here to make sure they fail. The grid is failing, the war is starting, and the truth is coming for Donald Trump. We are just getting started with this exposure. The receipts we have on Mark Levin's latest rant will leave you absolutely speechless. The transition from the locker room to the war room is seamless for these people. But for the rest of us, it's a matter of survival. Watch as they pivot from beer, chugging to national mourning without skipping a single beat of their propaganda. It is a masterclass in manipulation that we are going to dismantle piece by piece. The gas prices are just the beginning of the fallout. The real cost of this regime is much higher than $5 a gallon. They want you quiet, they want you distracted, and they want you compliant. We are going to be exactly the opposite. As we look at the late Senator Graham's legacy, you're going to see the true face of the people running this country into the ground. It is a story of greed, lies, and a total contempt for the American people. The blockade is real, the blackouts are coming, and the regime media is laughing in your face. We're going to see who's laughing when the full extent of their medical fraud crusade is finally brought to light. And that light is blinding because while you're worrying about your family's health right now, the state media sycophants are busy canonizing a warmonger. The late Lindsey Graham hasn't even been gone 48 hours. Fox News is currently running a marathon of most deranged revisionist history I've ever seen. Mark Levin actually sat there and told the American people that Iranians loved the senator. He claimed they called him Uncle Lindsey. It's not just a pathetic lie, it's a grotesque insult to every person who has suffered under the hawkish policies Graham championed for decades. Watch this clip of the regime's chief propagandist trying to sell us this absolute garbage. It's a masterclass in how state media operates when they think you aren't paying attention. Let's play this. They are trying to humanize a man who never met a conflict he didn't want to escalate, especially now as we sit on the brink of an Iran-centered catastrophe. Then we have Ted Cruz, who thinks it's the perfect time for a bit of humor. He's out there laughing about Graham's recurring joke where he told elderly women to give him money. Let's play this clip of Cruz revealing the true cynical heart of the GOP while the rest of the country struggles. Watch how comfortable he is joking about taking your money. Watch this tape. They aren't even hiding the contempt anymore. To this regime, the American people are just a piggy bank for the donor class and their endless thirst for global instability. But the real knife in the back isn't just the rhetoric, it's the legislation. While they distract you with these tributes, the regime is moving forward with Reconciliation 3.0. This is a cold-blooded $400 billion heist designed to gut your health care. They are literally draining the funds meant for your medical care to funnel them into the Defense Department. The excuse is that the military was bankrupted during the previous transition. It is a flat-out lie meant to justify starving your families to feed the military-industrial complex. They are trading your doctor visits for more missiles and more aggressive blockades. It is a shell game designed to keep the defense contractors rich and you desperate. Think about the timing. They've partnered with Dr. Oz to scream about medical fraud to create the political cover they need to dismantle the programs you and your family rely on. It is a coordinated assault on the working class, dressed up in the flag and delivered with a side of fake tears for a fallen senator. Meanwhile, gas prices have surged between $3.89 and $4.56 per gallon at the pump. The Iran escalation is hitting your wallet right now, and the regime is laughing at your struggle. Tim Scott even said we should honor Graham by acknowledging Donald Trump as the ruler of the free world. Let's look at this clip of the absolute submission on display. Roll the tape. This is what state media looks like. Total, unconditional loyalty to a man who is currently leading us into an economic abyss. They are demanding you bow down while they pick your pockets. It's a cycle of propaganda and theft. They use the media to create a saintly image of their own while passing laws that make it harder for you to live. While they're busy building statues and telling lies about Graham's Iranian fans, the infrastructure of this country is starting to crumble under the weight of their fossil fuel obsession. They want you to believe that cutting your health care is an act of patriotism. They want you to believe that $4 gas is just the price of freedom. But the propaganda is failing because reality is finally catching up to their lies. The lights are starting to flicker in 65 million American homes. The same people telling you Graham was a peacemaker are the ones ignoring a collapsing power grid. We're about to see how their arrogant reliance on non-renewables is putting us in danger. Energy Secretary Chris Wright thinks he can brag his way out of an emergency. But the PJM grid doesn't care about his social media posts or the heat wave that's bearing down. We are watching the regime's infrastructure fail in real time. Chris Wright, the fossil fuel lobbyist, disguised as our energy secretary, took to social media to gloat about his supposed success. He posted a graphic showing the national grid running on 91% non-renewables, mocking the very idea of a green transition. It was a victory lap taken on the edge of a total collapse. Less than 24 hours after that post, reality came crashing down on 65 million Americans as a record-breaking heat wave baked the East Coast. The PJM interconnection grid, the largest in the country, began to buckle. The fossil fuel infrastructure Wright worships simply couldn't keep up with the soaring demand. Emergency alerts started hitting phones from Illinois to New Jersey, begging citizens to cut their power usage or face total blackouts. Look at this digital post from Wright, where he claims that renewable energy is nothing more than a luxury for the weak. He was literally celebrating our vulnerability while transformer boxes were melting in the streets. It is the height of incompetence. But in this regime, incompetence is a prerequisite for the job. While you were sweating in your living room because the grid couldn't handle the heat, Donald Trump was doubling down on his deranged rhetoric. He is still telling anyone who will listen that only unsuccessful countries use wind power. That is a flat-out lie designed to keep his oil billionaire donors happy while your utility bills skyrocket. If wind power is for losers, then why is China currently leading the entire world in wind production? The regime doesn't want you to know the truth because the truth exposes their grotesque failure to protect the American people. They want you focused on anything else while the country literally goes dark. But the energy crisis is only half the story. While the grid is failing, your wallet is being emptied at the gas pump thanks to Trump's catastrophic foreign policy. After declaring the Iran ceasefire over, the resulting blockade of the Strait of Hormuz has slapped a 20% cargo fee on global shipping. Now, Americans are staring down gas prices between $3.89 and $4.56 per gallon. It's a direct result of a warmongering strategy that is bankrolling the military while bankrupting the working class. This leads us to the grotesque legislative theater currently unfolding in Washington. To fund a $400 billion emergency increase for the Defense Department, the regime is pushing Reconciliation 3.0. They are literally cutting your health care services to pay for more bombs and a failing war strategy. It is a vicious cycle of corruption where the poor pay the price for the ego of a dictator. And how does the state regime media cover this unfolding disaster? They don't. They distract. While the grid flickers and gas prices surge, Jesse Waters is running segments about college kids on summer break. They want you watching University of Tampa students drinking on the beach so you don't notice the country is falling apart. It's a pathetic attempt to insulate the Trump administration from its own catastrophic failures. When they aren't talking about college parties, they're busy canonizing Lindsey Graham. Fox News has spent the last 48 hours trying to convince you the late senator was a beloved figure. Mark Levin actually claimed that people in Iran affectionately called him Uncle Lindsey. It's a vile level of propaganda that would make a third world dictator blush. They are even using Graham's death to push the Save American Act, a voter suppression bill they claim is the ultimate way to honor his legacy. It's opportunistic and it's deeply cynical. Then you have the culture war distractions, like the relentless attacks on Kamala Harris or the obsession with WNBA locker rooms. Kayleigh McEnany is out here calling a speech to the Los Angeles Sparks deflating while the nation's power grid is on life support. They are obsessed with alpha male posturing and ring girls at UFC fights because they have no actual solutions for the American people. It's all a smokescreen for a regime in total freefall. We cannot let them win the war of information. We are the only ones willing to shine a light on the medical fraud crusades and the systemic dismantling of our democracy. If you are tired of the lies and the state-sponsored propaganda, you need to join this movement. We are the front line against this regime's attempt to rewrite reality. Help us hit our next major subscriber milestone by hitting that button right now. We need every single one of you to stand with us as we expose the truth. Head over to our Substack for exclusive, ad-free analysis that the corporate media is too terrified to air. Together, we will dismantle the propaganda machine and take our country back. Stay loud, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged. We're just getting started. I'm your host, and this is Breaking America.